Hello everybody, my name is Root and welcome back to the Metroid Dread Any Percent NMG beginner / intermediate guide. I think throughout the entire thing I have been intermixing both beginner and intermediate strats to be used, so I think there's a bit of a middle ground here. Definitely not advanced though, I'll say that much. So today we will be going over Flash Shift, and it's really not that long of a split, so let's get started. So getting morph ball bombs, we immediately use them like we do every single item in this game. This room's really nothing to explain, literally just use them. But starting from here, what we're going to do immediately as we get out of the chute, the bomb chute, I guess, is we're going to melee off of this ledge. So that way we skip quite literally everything and then just head straight down right here. And then we're going to slide. So that is just something to keep in mind. But yeah, and slide again. So you can slide off this ledge, press B to start a spin fall, and then slide again. This one might be a little bit more difficult. It looks quite easy to just go ahead and do it, but it can be quite tricky to get this timing down from this slide to the morph into the tunnel. So if you just mantle inside, that's fine too. I would say this is a little bit more intermediate, so if you just mantle into the tunnel, that's perfectly fine. It's not like it's going to save you a massive amount of time. It's just something that you can do, and then it's an option that you have to do. But if you feel more comfortable mantling inside and then going into the bomb chute, perfectly fine. So yeah. So from here, really there's not much to talk about here. Spin fall. So start from the spin fall up on the top ledge and then melee here. So you don't melee much off ledges here, but this one works because it sends you straight to this angle to shoot this hidden block right here, this hidden breakable block. So yeah, just keep in mind you can melee there. And then grapple block, you're going to get a missile, probably the last one you get for, probably the last 2-pack you're going to get. And and then there's one more 10 pack later. So you can hold your charge beams in this room. I would actually kind of recommend holding your charge beams in that room. So if you hold your charge beams in this room, you can just take these guys out. He didn't go down for some reason, but yeah, you can just do that so they don't bother you, and then break down the door. And then from here, you are going to go into the water, slide into the water. So we're going to slide into the water and then coyote jump pretty much all the way to the next ledge. So that way you can avoid water, because water is slow. Water is always slow in every single game. And then melee off of this ledge. Oh, another melee. I lied. So another melee off this ledge. So that way you don't have to touch this little ledge right here. You can just skip it, which is always nice. We love skipping ledges. And then head downwards. So here, pretty interesting. Just ignore this guy. Literally just ignore this little enemy. Slide. And then what you can do is when Samus is right here, you can actually grapple this. You don't have to. I literally myself have just started doing this. So once again, something to keep in mind, not a necessity. Something to keep in mind is that you can actually grapple this right here, so that way you can get a little bit of a boost to fall down, which is pretty interesting to keep in mind. So from here, after the grapple, you kind of want to, once again, something to keep in mind. I'm going to keep repeating this because not everything is a necessity, especially when you're just starting to play the game. It's always just something to keep in mind. I like giving more options to keep in mind. I think it's better that way. So after you grapple this, you kind of want to fall at an angle here, so that when you fall, you can fall and morph into this little hole right here. This is really not a necessity. They call this the hole-in-one. A lot of people miss it all the time. I miss it all the time. Most runners miss it a lot of the times. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. It's fine if you don't. In this case, I do. But once again, something to keep in mind, something that can happen. Not a necessity, but it's pretty cool. And then from here on, we are going to Barenia. Probably one of the best atmospheric places in the game. Pretty cool. So now that we're in Barenia, we're going to start running left, shooting this door right here, and I'm actually going to pause. What I like to do here is I actually like to slide off this ledge. There's a couple of ways people do this, but I like to slide off this ledge and then start going to a morph ball. And then what I'll do is start laying bombs down. And why you lay bombs down is that two things can happen here. You either avoid this enemy altogether, this one right here. You either avoid this enemy altogether, or it starts breathing and, pulling you in, and you don't want that. So what the bomb does, just in case you don't avoid the enemy, is that instead of taking Samus in, it'll take the bomb in and just die. So in this case, I don't need it, but the enemy, as you can see, still died, just in case I didn't aim properly, and it didn't waste me any time trying to kill it, or getting pulled in or anything like that. So it's a good insurance to lay some bombs down there. And then you're gonna break these blocks down here and head towards this grapple block, because we got early grapple, so now we are blessed with being able to get that down. So from here, interesting thing is that you can, this is just to avoid this enemy right here. Right when you hit this block right here, this block is the important block to look at. So right when you hit that block right there, running while pressing ZL to slide and cloak at the same time. So that way Samus is now invisible. And what that does is that it gives this enemy no time to react to you. And what will happen is that it'll completely miss you like that. So now I don't have to worry about getting hit and taking a lot of my health. And also here, what you want to do is you want to aim down, similar to what we did in Cataris when we first entered Cataris. Aim down, so that way this enemy, Samus's hurt box, shifts a little bit. And this enemy, this Steve, I think in the community it's called, I don't know why they're called Steves, but they are, is completely avoided. So that way we don't get hit. And then we head towards this tunnel. And we're really on our merry way, to be honest. So from here, I like to start charging a charge beam, as you can see from the giant bright light that is happening. So you have two options here. I charge a charge beam and then start mashing missiles. So that way I take out this enemy right here. But what you can also do is you can just go off the ledge and melee. It'll give you, by the time you pretty much end up right here, it'll give you the signal to do a counter. So let's see. See, it's already giving me the signal to counter right there. So you would be able to melee pretty much as you start running and just melee the enemy. So that's an option. I do missiles, but the time might feel uncomfortable for some people, so melee might feel safer. So yeah, once again, options to be had. So from here, spin fall, because we love our spin falls. I haven't been saying spin falls as often lately. I'm making the assumption, you know, people are getting a little bit more used to the movement and getting more used to spin falling and remembering to spin fall, so I don't mention it as much anymore. But yeah, we go spin fall. My morph for a second, probably should morph a little bit longer, but it works out because morphing gives you faster fall speed. So that's what I do. Coyote here, and then I find it a little bit easier to grapple because sometimes if you do the coyote jump all the way to this ledge, sometimes it doesn't work and you get stuck on the bottom, and then this enemy will start attacking you, which I don't like. So I think this might be a little bit slower, but it still works out. And pretty much avoid all the enemies in that room. So from here, right when I hit this ledge, I'm gonna melee, bing, like that. So that way we get through a little bit more of the water and then start jumping. Jumping is a little bit faster. It gets you a little bit faster through the water. So right there where you have seen that I did kind of quick morph, not quick morph, but I morphed into the tunnel. You don't have to do this. It's a very little movement. It's minute movement, something that you don't necessarily have to worry about. You can just mantle into the tunnel. It's fine. A lot of people do. Quick morphing is or not quick. I keep calling it a quick morph. I don't know why. Morphing into the tunnel is faster, but if you're uncomfortable with it in the beginning and start getting frustrated because Samus is not, you know, going inside the tunnel, then just mantle into the tunnel. It's fine. This is another little minute movement that I'm bringing up here. And then start from here. I would say the sliding is faster, so that's why I unmorph and slide through all of these. So yeah, and then another melee because we want to get through the water faster, so we're gonna melee here, do our little grab the ledge, jump off, jump onto the ground because it's faster than just climbing up the ledge. So we're gonna do that quite a bit here. So we're gonna melee again, bing, melee. Oh, I actually don't do that here. And then we can grapple this. Some people kind of forget that. Even I forget it to this day sometimes. You can actually just grapple this little thing right here, this zipper, this magnet over there. So that way you can avoid the water completely. And as you do that, you want to press the shoot button and shoot all of these little enemies over here. So that way they are out of your way and don't bother you at all. And then take out this enemy. So there is two options that we have here. I'm not going to show the hard option. I don't even know if that's an intermediate or advanced technique. I just think it's annoying. And it only saves 8 seconds. And yeah, that sounds like, oh my god, that's 8 seconds. It's a lot. I promise, like, you really don't have to do it for a while. It's not that important. It's called Backdoor Flash, and we're not going to go over it. I'll put a video, maybe if I can find one, on how to do it in the description. If I can find one. I don't know if I can, but I'll try. I'll put it in there just in case you want to see it. But once again, not that important. Only saves 8 seconds. Mind you, it only saves 8 seconds on first try. If you don't get it first try, then you are wasting time at that point. So this way is just more consistent and just easier to get your mind around, I think. So yeah, I take the damage boost from this enemy right here. So the reason I take the damage here is so this enemy just doesn't bother me, and then I can go on my merry way, and then jump over this guy and do once again the little ping, grab the ledge and jump onto the ground. I think that is very important to keep mentioning because believe me, you can waste a lot of time in water that you weren't even thinking about. So make sure to keep that in mind. So we're gonna grapple this, jump all the way, and then morph. What are we going to do here? Our favorite little movement, right? Our favorite little movement. Again, I'm telling you, this comes up out of nowhere. You wouldn't even think about it. Grab the ledge, jump backwards, jump onto the ground. It literally happens everywhere, and you wouldn't even think about it. Or not everywhere, but it does happen a lot. And then missile, and then we have flash shift. And that's really it for flash shift, if I'm being honest. Not really much to it. I would say it's... If you don't do backdoor flash, it is still pretty movement intensive, to be honest. There's a lot of things to keep in mind ever since you get bombs from Dyron, but especially now we're starting to navigate more through water, so it can be a little bit tough. So I don't want anyone to feel down about it or anything. Just keep practicing, keep playing. You'll get used to a lot of the minute details that come with the movement in Dread, just so long as you keep playing. But I'm going to leave it off for there. So once again, my name is Root. Thank you for watching, and the next time we will be covering Speed Booster and I think Quiet Robo. So hopefully I will see you for that one. Bye bye.